When you're training Slayer, it's easy to get locked in on those good XP rate tasks, but there are plenty of tasks that you might be putting on your block list that are going to help you make some big bank in the long term. It's not all about that rush to 99. Padding out that cash stack is going to speed up everything else in the long run, especially on a main account. This video is not for the hyper sweaty max cape speedrunners amongst us, but if you want to make decent cash whilst you train your skills, this is the video you need on your Slayer grind. I've tried to include as many monsters that are on popular block lists that I see online. Doing these tasks have helped me massively flesh out my bank account. Some of them provide slow and steady GP with very little input, and others give you some chances at some massive pricey drops. We'll ease into it with a fairly obvious one, Gargoyles. You'll average out 1 mil GP per hour, doing 150 kills per hour here. Definitely achievable in some half decent gear with melee stats in the 80s. You'll need a rock hammer to smash the Gargoyles, and purchasing the Gargoyle Smasher perk with Slayer reward points from a Slayer Master will make this way more efficient. They're located on the top of the Slayer Tower, so it's worth bringing a nose peg to get here, or obviously wearing a Slayer helmet if you're on task. You won't be wasting any money on supplies. You can constantly outheal these guys, whilst wearing full Guthans, the only outgoing cost is your repair cost. So, where's all the money coming in from? There are plenty of alchables, lots of rune items and adamant items, as well as straight up coins, runes, crafting supplies. This will all keep the steady flow of cash coming in. But you'll make the big money when you get a granite maul drop. This sells for around 800k, and you'll get one every 2 hours on average. Next up, Greater Demons. They're a notoriously bad block task. However, since whilst Guthic Sleep's dropped, you can unblock this task and kill Tormented Demons instead. They count as a Greater Demon whilst on task, and you can make upwards of 8 mil per hour here. If you haven't killed them before, or need a refresher after completing the quest, you can check out my guide linked in the description. It's basically some simple gear and prayer switching, but it can be a bit confusing for a first timer, or if you're just out of practice. The bulk of the drops will pay for your supplies. It's mostly runes, rune items, dragon items, herbs, seeds, as well as some supplies to help extend your trips. The real money though is in the Tormented Synapse and Burning Claw drops. These are used to make top-end Demon Bane weapons and Burning Claws respectively. The Synapse is going for around 65 mil right now, and the Claws for around 10 mil each. That is some crazy money. It's a 1 in 500 drop for either a Claw piece or a Synapse. This averages out to a rare drop every 250 kills. A massive boost to the bank when the drop does come in. If you've made it this far, drop the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more from me. I'm nearing 5,000 subscribers, which is a massive milestone for me, and any engagement massively helps me out, so it's appreciated. I'll be honest with you, I've not actually done this one on task, but with some recent changes, this could be one to watch. On a normal Abyssal Demon task, you can make some reasonable money simply through selling the Abyssal Whips you get on the Grand Exchange. It's nothing crazy, the drop rate is 1 in 512, and you can get through maybe 100 per hour on a good day. 5 hours for a 2 mil drop is hardly something to get excited about. However, with the Abyssal Sire recently being made easier, and with the Abyssal Bludgeon being worth about 28 mil, this averages out to 2.2 mil per hour. Don't quote me on this one, but I think it makes sense to at least give this one a try next time you're on task if you've got the Slayer level, and either way, it's a good excuse to learn a new boss. On the topic of boss variants, let's break up this list and give a shout out to all of them. The Alchemical Hydra, Cerberus and Grotesque Guardians are all worth doing if you're on the respective tasks. The loot isn't actually that great at Guardians in particular, but it's an interesting fight and pretty good for combat achievements. There are loads of other boss alternatives to most monsters. Callisto for bears, Araxer, Spindle and Venenatis are great examples for spiders. Scurius can be killed in place of rats, and Brander and Eldritch for ice and fire giants. There are loads, so we can't go through them all here, but be aware that they exist and check out a full list so you know your options whenever you get a new task. We'll get back to the bulk of the list now. Most people don't like dragon tasks. They're all in single combat areas, they're super tanky, and all of the valuable loot, like the bones and hides, takes up a lot of inventory space, causing a lot of bank running downtime. They also need specialist equipment like anti-fire shields or potions. This is hardly a well-kept secret, but you should definitely not be blocking blue dragon tasks. As a blue dragon substitute, Vorkath is allowed and is arguably the most consistent mid-game boss moneymaker in the entire game. With top end gear, you can get up to 5 mil per hour here. That is insane money, and it's not reliant on getting lucky with unique drops. The bulk of that cash is going to be from superior dragon bones, which you get 2 of literally every single kill. The rest of it is in rune and dragon items, dragon hides, runes, herbs and seeds. With a bit of practice, it's pretty brain dead too. It's got some pretty hard hitting attacks, but with the practice, you'll avoid these every time. I've got 2 guides for this one too, depending on if you want to do the ranged or melee method, so check them out after this video if you want to give Vorkath a go. I've got one here that's not an often skipped task due to how easily cannonable it is, Dagonoths. However, instead of just cannoning them under the lighthouse, heading to Waterbirth Island and tackling either one or all of the Dagonoth Kings is a very viable option to make a bit of money. I recently discovered this boss live on stream and died, losing 5 mil to my gravestone fees. However, if you're not a moron and actually learn the fight instead of just trying to send it, you can make up to 2.7 mil per hour here. Dagonoth bones are worth 15k a pop, and you get 3 of them just by killing 1 rotation of all 3 bosses. On top of that, there are extra drops to pad out the boss, the usual culprits, battle staves, seeds, herbs, alchable weapons and armor, and even some extra uniques like the dragon axe and the seer coal bow. The rings are what's going to make you the money though. Each ring drops at a 1 in 128 rate. The berserker ring is worth 5 mil, the archer ring is worth 2.5 mil, the seer's ring is worth 500k, and the warrior's ring is basically worthless at 66k, but still, every little helps. This was a pretty fun boss to learn, and I didn't get spooned so far, but I'll definitely be continuing my Dagonoth task at the Kings. Let's quickly go over some chill ones that aren't necessarily going to make you massive money, but like I say, they're super chill and you can trickle in that cash. A lot of these can be done AFK or done on a second monitor. Aberrant Spectres are pretty decent for their herb and seed drops, especially if you've got a herb pouch and a seed box. Kurasks are mega chill, they drop lots of stackables, and with a few prayer potions, you can stay here for ages. Cave Horrors aren't too bad, they are cannonable and drop the black mask. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong about any of this stuff. I'm not an expert, I'm a mid-game player that's trying to share tips that have helped me to progress my account without putting in crazy hours or burning out. I love this game, but it can be a grind and we've got to find the best ways to get through some of the slower or more tedious parts. If you're doing a Slayer task because it's good money, that leaves you space on your block list to skip tasks that you actually dislike, making it more likely that you'll see the grind all the way through. If you've made it this far, you definitely owe me that like and subscribe, and whilst you're down there, check out the description. I've got links to my channel membership if you'd like to support me even further, and the Discord where we've got an awesome little community going. Definitely join if you're looking for people to play with. We've got people at all sorts of different stages of their accounts, and we're all helping each other to learn and progress together. Before we finish up, a quick shout out to my existing channel members, Chizomni and Omega0240, both absolute legends. Thanks for sticking around, I'll see you next time.